Hi friends, welcome back to Friends Who Crime.
Friends Who Crime.
I'm your host, Bryn, and today I am joined by my wonderful friend, Andy. Andy, tell us, who are you? How do you know me? And what's your relationship with true crime?
Well, I'm Andy Young. I am a singer and a voice teacher as well, and I met Bryn in college going to music school, and we met in conducting class, and my relation to true crime is my old roommate used to listen to true crime all the time, like a lot, and it just turns out that Bryn is my old roommate that I'm referencing. So that's about it. I've never really listened to a true crime podcast or anything at all, other than like TV show like crime.
Mother. I'm just gonna pretend that my phone did not go up.
Well, that's my relation.
Yeah. Gosh. I do. I listen to too much true crime. And I've known you for a very long time.
Yeah. I've known lots of people that, like, my sisters listen to it, so I get the vibe, but never really gotten into it myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you're in for it today.
Yes, I am.
This is another crazy one.
Okay. I like crazy.
Yeah. Okay, last question is, if you were a cooking utensil, what would you be and why?
Man, I would be the knife, I think.
The knife?
The knife.
Why?
Oh man, this is true crime. That's too fitting. I wasn't thinking of it. I was thinking like, I'm to the point. I'm like, no bullshit. And just like, I cut through things. I don't know. Like, I'm to the point though.
I like it.
Yeah. I don't know. And I'm very useful. Like, you always use a knife when you cook, so.
Can confirm.
Yeah.
You are very useful.
Yes. When you're 6'6", you can do a lot of things.
Yeah, we should say that. Andy's a fucking
I'm tall.
giant.
My Instagram, Andy the Giant. Follow me. Yes.
We're not kidding either. He's real tall. Real tall. All right, so you'd be a knife. I like that, especially since we're about to talk about murder.
Yeah.
Before we get into today's case, I want to give a quick trigger warning. There's a brief mention of suicide in this episode, so please proceed with caution if that's something that you are sensitive to. Now, today's case is one that's been unsolved for over 5 decades. Unsolved.
Wow.
Sorry.
That's a long time.
Spoiler alert, this is unsolved.
Okay.
But we're not going to give everything away just yet. Suffice it to say, this case involves a brutal crime that left more questions than answers. Suffocation is a long and painful way to die.
Gosh.
It can take anywhere from 1 to 5 minutes to smother someone into unconsciousness, and then they must suffer without air for another 3 to 5 minutes before they pass away. It's a horrifyingly slow process.
So you're like aware of it, like after, or like you're just saying you go unconscious and you're gone.
You go unconscious, and then I don't know if you would.
Let's not find out.
Yeah, but it's not like it is in movies where it's like
it's quick.
Yeah, where it's so quick. No, it's like it takes a long time, and it would be an awful way to go.
What a terrible image.
Yeah, sorry. So let's go back to the fall of 1970 and dive into the case of Donna Dahl.
Okay.
It's the fall of 1970, a time when the world was caught in the midst of change. The 60s had just ended, but counterculture movement still was big throughout society. The Vietnam War was raging, the civil rights movement was pushing for change, the music of the time was a soundtrack for rebellion, revolution. The air was thick with protests and promise, a tension that seemed to define the decade. The 70s felt like a crossroads. It was a time when young people were beginning to define themselves outside of the norms that their parents have set, which we get that. But the world still held on to like a certain innocence, like people left their doors unlocked. It was like a simpler way of life. You didn't have all the technology and whatnot that we had today.
Yeah.
It was an era of bell-bottom jeans, heck yeah, disco, hell yeah, free love.
Oh yeah.
But also political turmoil and, like, uncertainty about the future. In DeKalb, Illinois, life felt much quieter. It was a small, peaceful college town. Everybody knew each other's name. The biggest concern was getting a good parking spot near campus. It was the kind of town where you could walk down Main Street without fear. People left their doors unlocked, like I said, and everyone thought they were too far removed from the big city to be touched by any real danger. It was a town defined by the rhythm of college life at Northern Illinois University, where students came from across the country to be college students. So we're in DeKalb, and DeKalb is an hour west of Chicago.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
close enough to the city to like be able to go if you needed to, but still very removed and small.
College. Yeah.
Yeah, like I'm thinking like Denton.
Yeah.
Denton.
Yeah.
Danton.
Danton. We're in Texas. It's Danton.
Yeah.
Yeah. San Marcos.
San Marcos.
San Marcos.
Buda. Okay, so let's get into who Donna was and how she fits into all of this. Donna Susan Dahl grew up in Brookfield, Illinois. She was the second eldest of 4 children. From a young age, responsibility was a constant in her life. Her parents relied on her to clean, babysit, and help care for her younger siblings. Her friends used to say that she didn't have a social life, really, because her parents were always giving her chores to do or making her babysit her siblings.
Can relate.
Yeah. Yeah. Despite her many obligations at home, Donna excelled academically. She attended Riverside Brookfield High School, where she graduated in 1967, and she was ranked 15th in her class.
Okay.
And it was pretty small.
Yeah.
Small town, but still, 15th in her class, she's doing well. She was also a member of the National Honor Society, so she's this really bright, nerdy, disciplined, like... Responsible, yeah, that's a good word. Yep.
Forced to be responsible, it sounds like.
And, like, I don't know if she knew any different yet, you know? Like, she might have thought that was super normal for her parents to put all of that on her.
Yeah.
But she went to Northern Illinois State after graduating high school, where she pursued a degree in Russian.
Okay. Where does that come from?
It's notoriously difficult to master. I've never even tried. Isn't the alphabet's different, right?
I don't know. I've sung in Russian, but...
You've sang in Russian?
Yeah.
I think the alphabet is different. Like, they've got different characters.
I think when I've sung it, it's like the pronunciation of Russian. Like us
the
English speakers, the phonetic can understand. Yeah. So yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah. So she's doing that. And she was thriving. She was an honor student on a scholarship. She actually worked in the university library on weeknights.
Okay.
Her summers were spent furthering her education at Middlebury College in Pennsylvania, and she was earning credit towards a master's degree.
At the same time?
Yes.
Goodness.
So she's getting her master's in the summer. Concurrently.
Okay.
With her normal Russian degree. Yeah.
What's the master's in?
Also
Russian.
In Russian, yeah. Her dream was to be either a Russian teacher or translator.
Okay.
College also brought a newfound sense of freedom. We were just saying she didn't know any different maybe when she was a kid, but now she's in college. A friend whose name is also Donna.
Oh.
So her last name is Chiarellit. Chiarellit? Yes. I had to look up how to say that. But her friend is Donna Chiarellit, so I'm going to call her friend Donna. I'm just going to call her Chiarellit for the rest of this. Chiarellit. The more you say it, the weirder it gets.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm going to be calling her by her last name.
Got it.
As to not confuse the two Donnas. So, Chiarellit described Donna as never wild, calling her unworldly and innocent. But at NIU, away from the responsibilities of home, Donna was finally able to carve out time for herself. So she was socializing, she was growing as a person, stepping into adulthood. Basil, do not step on my keyboard. I will rip your limbs off.
Never. She's too cute.
She's a perfect princess most of the time. In 1970, Donna was still going to school in DeKalb, Illinois, which was an hour west of Chicago. She was on the cusp of a bright future until it was stolen from her. On October 7th, 1970, it was a crisp autumn evening in DeKalb, Illinois. Donna was 21, and she finished her shift at the NIU library, clocking out at exactly 9:59 p.m. She was supposed to meet her friend, Kia Rellet. I'm gonna get it. But she was supposed to meet Kia Rellet after she got off work. The two had barely seen each other that semester. Donna had spent the summer in Pennsylvania, and Kia Rellet was adjusting to life as a newlywed. She'd just gotten married. That night they were planning just something simple, getting some coffee, walking around, catching up, trying to figure out who they were after the summer. They were supposed to meet outside the library where Kia Rellet would pick Donna up. But when she arrived, Donna was not there. Nowhere to be found. At first, she wasn't alarmed. College students change plans all the time. I know I definitely did. And this was a time before cell phones. Yeah. So you can't just text and be like, hey, not going to make it. Or hey, I'm going to be 10 minutes late, whatever.
What time did she arrive?
She got there a few minutes after 10.
Okay.
So not long after Donna clocked out. She assumed they would just reconnect later. She actually waited for like 20 minutes. Waited for Donna to show up. She never did.
Okay.
Donna also never returned to her dorm that night. The weekend passed, and Donna was still missing. Her absence stretched beyond what anyone could brush off as forgetfulness. She even missed her little sister's 10th birthday, which is something that she would never have done.
Yeah.
Just, like, super out of character.
And it was that week? Following? Okay.
That weekend, yeah.
Her weekend, yeah.
So her parents could no longer shake their growing fear, and they reported Donna missing to the police. This was 2 days since people had heard from her.
Okay.
So it was like 11:30 p.m. on that second day.
Okay.
Yeah. It was like she had just like vanished into the night. Like, where did she go? Something happened between when she clocked out and when her friend came to pick her up. Yeah. Which was not a lot of time. Yeah.
Where did she have like coworkers when she clocked down, or you'll get into that?
You know, I don't know if she did or not.
Like if anyone saw her leaving?
Yeah. Nothing just that I read online
clocked out
said, yeah. So she must have been
closing.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like 10 p.m.
Yeah. Definitely closing. Maybe closing. I don't know how late libraries stay up. I feel like UT's libraries were 24/7.
Were they? I was never there. Was that late?
Except for the Fine Arts Library. That one was always closed when I needed to go in there.
No. Those musicians.
Yes.
They suck.
Tell me about it. When Donna Doll was first reported missing, DeKalb Police Chief Don Burke took the lead on the case. Officers searched Donna's dorm room, looking for clues that might explain where she was. Her clothes, medication, and suitcase were all there, untouched. Even her last paycheck from the library was in there, uncashed. If she had left town voluntarily, she just, hadn't packed for it.
Right.
One detail in the missing persons report that caught investigators' attention is that Donna had a boyfriend in Pittsburgh that she had met over the summer at the college that she was at for her master's. And her parents wondered, maybe had she gone to see him? Mm-hmm. But something in this theory didn't sit right. Donna hadn't told anybody that she was leaving. And as more details surfaced, the situation grew murkier. The boyfriend, as it turned out, was either married or recently separated. Okay. And Donna's 21 at this point. Okay. We actually don't know much about this guy because he's just unnamed. Let's just say that. I'll explain at the end. But we don't know much about him.
Okay.
But we do know he's either married or recently separated.
And then he's not in, he's far away, right? He's in
Yeah, he's in Pennsylvania.
Okay.
In
Yeah.
Pittsburgh.
Mm-hmm.
And she's in Illinois.
Gotcha.
I don't know how far Illinois
I was going to
is.
say, I don't know how long of a drive that
Pittsburgh.
is.
Wait.
Um,
How far is it from Chicago to Pittsburgh?
Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania is about 462 miles from Chicago, Illinois by car.
yeah.
It would take about 7 hours to drive there.
Yeah, that's far.
That would be a far trip to take without telling anyone that
Yeah.
you were going and just
Mhm.
leaving
And
all
leaving
of a
medication
sudden.
and
leaving
leaving-
medication, yeah. Donna had kept their relationship quiet, fearing judgment from her family and friends. I think her parents, we already talked about, like, gave her a bunch of chores to do, but they were also known for being strict.
Were they religious?
Not that I read.
Okay.
All I know is that several people said that they were strict parents
Gotcha.
and would not have approved of this new boyfriend.
Okay.
Despite the unanswered questions, police found no evidence of foul play. There were no reports of a struggle, no witness to an abduction, just a college senior who walked into the night and never returned. 2 days passed, then 3, then a week. By now, Donna's parents were pretty frantic, but their fear turned into terror when the phone started ringing. Over the next 9 days, they received at least 6 calls of an unidentified voice on the other end saying, "I know where your daughter is,"
Oh.
and wouldn't say anything else.
Oh, no.
And then would just hang up.
That's creepy.
And they got at least 6, some sources say 7,
Okay.
different calls over the 9 days.
Yeah. They were consistent. 9 days
Yeah.
of that. Yeah.
Isn't that weird?
That's creepy. Yeah.
just-
Like, your heart sinks when you hear that voice. And
Right.
like, they won't say anything. Like, do they just hang up? Or like just, I know where your daughter is and that's it?
Yep, that's it. And then they hang up.
Damn.
Yep. And I can't imagine calling someone's parents that are going through this situation. Because, like, if it's the person who knows what actually happened to her, like, that's just mean. You know? Like, why are you just calling and saying, "I know where your daughter is," and, like, that's it?
Like,
you
not
know?
asking for like a ransom or like just let me rub this in your face kind of.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
Wow.
haha, you don't know who I am.
Who-
I know where your daughter is. But what would be even worse is if it was some rando calling.
That just knows that she's missing.
Even someone that knows that she's missing and just wants to, like, fuck with them.
Yeah. And doesn't actually know where she is,
Yeah.
maybe. Okay.
Because that happens so often in other
Does it?
cases. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah,
Man, people are
people-
fucked up.
I know.
Can I say that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Please.
I don't know, like, the age you're going for.
No,
Like,
it's marked as explicit.
It's murder. Okay. Yeah, I forgot. We're talking about murder.
But yeah, it happens all the time. People will call parents or family members, wives, husbands, and be like, "I know where this person is, like, I hurt them," or like, "I know where they're buried."
What motivates you to do that?
I don't know. To quote the girls from the Morbid podcast, yeah, people are gonna people. And that sucks.
Yeah.
So these people are calling them, literally just taunting them, essentially. Donna's friends and family took matters into their own hands. They organized a small search party, and they combed the area by the railroad tracks, sort of.
Is that near the library or something? Or
It's west of DeKalb, so I assume they think that she might have been in that area.
so they're doing a search.
Yes.
Are the police aren't involved? It sounds like,
They are involved,
but not with that.
but they're not searching yet because it's the 70s, so they're kind of like she'll
She'll
come
show
back.
up.
She's a college student.
Oh, dang!
Like, she'll come back.
Even with like the threatening calls.
I guess so. Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah. So the leader of this search party was Donna's recent ex-boyfriend, Charles Burke.
The one that lived in... recent ex-boyfriend.
Ex-boyfriend. Okay. Yeah, recent ex-boyfriend. He was a math student at NIU. Mm-hmm. And I believe he was a graduate student. So they were like close in age, but he was graduate, she was undergraduate.
Okay.
Yeah.
She likes the older men, it sounds like.
I do too.
More mature. We hope.
Right. So the search party was walking down the railroad tracks, but they found nothing. Donna was still out there somewhere. They don't know if she's alive. They don't know if she's not alive. But they were about to find out. October 11th, 1970, about 8:30 p.m., 3 teenagers were on their way to a party packed into a Pontiac station wagon. The excitement of the night kind of filling the car. You know how it is when, like, you're going to a party.
At that age.
Yeah. Before heading to the party, they made a stop along Nelson Road, which is a secluded stretch kind of on the outskirts. Kind of close by to the train tracks.
Oh.
Nelson Road was well known among NIU students. It was a popular spot to park, drink. Yeah. You know, kind of party away from the city.
Hook up.
Yeah. Yeah, Lover's Lane. Oh, and it was away from campus authorities.
Murder people too, I guess.
Yeah.
If that's where this is going.
A week earlier, the teens had stashed some beer in a nearby cornfield.
That's funny.
Mm-hmm. And now they were going back to get it on their way to the party.
Yeehaw.
Yep. Yeehaw, indeed. This is the North.
Yeah.
I guess so is Ohio, though.
Yeah.
And they have lots of corn.
Yeah. Corn.
One of these teenagers, Jim Ball.
Jim Ball.
Yep. Give that a second to marinate.
Jim Ball. You have to say it that way.
Jim Ball. One of them, Jim Ball, a first year college student, was walking into the tall grass, scanning the ground in the dim light, and that's when he saw it. Just 5 feet away, beneath a tree, lay the outline of a body. A sick feeling crept over him as he took in the sight. The shape was unmistakably a human. It was a woman, fully clothed, but shoeless. Ball turned to the two girls that he was with, and he said, "Get back in the car, don't look," so that they didn't see the body. They didn't ask questions because they didn't need to. They just drove right to the DeKalb Police Department, their beer now long forgotten. Officers followed them back to Nelson Road, where flashlights cut through the darkness, illuminating what the teenagers had stumbled upon. By the next morning, police had confirmed their worst fear. They had found Donna Dahl.
Dang. How many days was this after?
I believe it was 9.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, it was 9. I'm like 95% sure.
Yeah.
Because they gave, I remember reading something about they gave the killer a 9-day head start. Because they hadn't found her.
Yeah.
And they thought she was coming back. No. Wow. They never come back.
So shoeless and like dead for a while? Or like, do we know that?
We'll get into it.
Okay, yeah.
We'll get into it. Her body was slightly decomposed, but she hadn't been there like a really long time. Definitely not like 9 days. Yeah.
Okay.
The details of Donna's discovery only deepened the mystery. When she was last seen, she had been wearing a black trench coat, but the body found beneath the tree was dressed in a blue jacket. Her brown leather purse was missing, and so were her shoes. Her trench coat, purse, and shoes were never found.
Okay.
Never, to this day. Still missing. Her body showed no signs of violence, no bruises, no defensive wounds, no evidence of sexual assault. It was as if she had just simply stopped breathing.
Weird.
She had vanished for 9 days. Okay, I was right. She had vanished for 9 days. Where had she been? What had happened? The discovery of her body gave us more questions than answers.
Did I understand you said she was in different clothes than she was last seen in?
She was in a different jacket. Okay. That's it. And then no shoes, no purse.
No shoes. Okay, but a different jacket. So interacted with someone, probably. Maybe. Who knows? I guess. Yeah.
I guess. But yeah, the only thing that was different was her jacket. Instead of a black trench coat, it was like a blue,
Yeah.
like shorter jacket.
Huh.
Isn't that weird?
She got cold. I don't know.
I guess. But a trench coat's like, I
Yeah.
feel like that'd be pretty warm.
Right? Instead of a shorter, less cold. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So like what happened to that trench coat? We'll never know. Most likely. The autopsy confirmed what the detectives had feared. Donna Dahl had been murdered by suffocation. Someone had held either a pillowcase or a plastic bag over her nose and mouth until she lost consciousness and then continued to smother her until she died. But there were a couple of strange things during this autopsy that they found. In cases like this, forensic experts typically find like fibers from whatever was used to suffocate the person. So if you're using like a cloth, there's going to be fibers in your
Because it's like
mouth,
forceful
lungs.
to
Yeah.
suffocate someone.
Yeah.
Oh, even in your lungs too, yeah. Mm-hmm. Go, because you're...
Yep.
You're gasping. Ugh, I've never had to think about this very hard.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Man.
Yeah, so they usually find some sort of fiber, but Donna had none. Instead, her lungs contained vomit. Kind of gross, but contained vomit. And that meant that she had, like, her body had struggled as she was dying. And also, with the fiber thing, they probably used a plastic bag.
I was about to say, a
Because
plastic
then there's
bag?
no fibers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And is that normal for, like, throat to go in your lungs when you get suffocated?
Yes.
Yeah, that kind of makes
Yeah.
sense that, like, your body's freaking out.
And there are some other things in here that might
Okay.
also explain that.
Yeah?
Toxicology reports revealed unknown substances in her system. On the toxicology report, it actually says, like, mystery substances.
Weird.
Because this was 1970, so
Yeah, okay.
no DNA can be tested. Forensic science was still, like, decades away from being able to
Right.
identify most substances, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Whatever had been in her body is still a mystery. Authorities believed that Donna had remained alive for approximately 48 hours after she vanished, meaning she was kept somewhere by someone for 2 days before she
Gotcha.
was killed. But the most bizarre discovery of all was that 6 pounds of potatoes were found in her stomach.
6 pounds.
6 pounds.
How big is a bag of potatoes that you get at the... I guess they're different sizes.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
But I think, like, the big bags at H-E-B are, like, 2 pounds. So, like, triple that.
Yeah.
Somewhere between 5 and 6 pounds.
Okay.
Just to clarify. But I say 6 because it's more dramatic.
And just, like, chewed potato... Like, she ate it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. One source said it was boiled potatoes, but some of the
Okay.
other sources say that they never actually said if it was raw or cooked or what.
Okay.
So, I wish I could definitively
Raw
say...
potatoes are not... Like, they're bad, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Could make you throw up.
At the least.
Yeah.
Here are the theories about these potatoes.
Okay. What an interesting thing to be talking about.
Imagine me on a break at work
Eating
Googling
6 pounds of potatoes.
Googling what I'm about to tell you, okay?
Yes.
The first theory makes the most sense to me. Donna had met her new boyfriend, the one that was married and or separated.
In Pennsylvania.
Yes, the one in Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh,
Yeah, she had met him while studying Russian, and some people speculated that whoever had killed her force-fed her the potatoes, mocking the reference to Russian culture. Because potato vodka
Oh.
and
Interesting.
like Russian poverty, there's like a stereotype with
Okay.
potato vodka.
Okay.
And it's made with like potatoes and wheat and rye.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah, and I'm thinking like a scorned lover,
Weird. Okay.
as in her recent ex-boyfriend.
Yeah.
That's what makes sense to me. But this...
But we don't know much about him, right?
I'll get into it.
Okay, yeah.
I'll get into it. We don't know much about Pittsburgh man.
Okay.
We know a little bit more about her recent ex-boyfriend.
I see. Yes. Okay. Recent ex-boyfriend.
The
Okay.
math student,
freshman.
graduate student guy.
Oh, graduate.
Yeah.
Yes. The freshman found him.
Yes.
Yes.
There's a lot of balls in the air
I'm
right
following.
now.
Yeah. I think I got it. Balls in the air is fun though.
Okay, this is theory number 2,
Okay.
which is the most entertaining theory to me. Poisoning by solanine. Solanine.
Okay. Don't know what that is.
Potatoes, this is
Oh,
what you were
no, okay.
saying. Potatoes contain solanine, which is a
Oh.
naturally occurring toxin that in
Right.
large amounts can be...
6 pounds?
Yeah, 6 pounds can be fatal.
Damn.
So a typical... This is what I say, the stuff I was Googling. One typical russet potato contains about 0.075 milligrams of solanine per gram. Donna consumed 6 pounds, or approximately 204 grams
Okay.
of solanine. A fatal dose for someone her size would be 1.13 milligrams.
Oh.
And she ate 204 grams.
Grams. Wow.
And I did double check my sources on that. But essentially, even if it wasn't a lethal amount, she would have felt very sick.
Yeah.
Like, very sick.
I mean, that amount of raw potatoes. Like, how do you even eat 6 pounds of anything?
And why?
And why? Yeah.
Why would she?
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense.
It's very confusing.
Yeah. That's why, like, I think someone had to, like, force her to.
No one, unless they have like a psychotic break or something. Like, why would you eat that much potato? And like, no warning signs of like she just disappeared one day too. So someone made her or like held her for 2 days, and all she had was potatoes, and so she just ate potatoes.
I guess. But yeah.
But they don't know if it was raw or cooked. Is that what I'm understanding?
One article said they were boiled.
Okay.
A couple of the other ones said we don't know. The
Okay.
police never said.
Okay.
The third theory is the theory of an allergic reaction. Donna was known to have some food allergies, and it's unknown if she was allergic to potatoes. Could have
Okay.
been.
Okay.
And a severe potato allergy can cause anaphylaxis, which leads to suffocation.
Suffocation. Okay.
So, could it have been triggered by an allergic reaction? Maybe. And maybe her killer knew that. Maybe her killer knew she was allergic to potatoes.
Wouldn't the family know that?
Family and friends, maybe people she's dated.
Yeah. Or I mean, like, wouldn't they know if she was or not? Like, we just don't know if she was allergic or not, though.
Yeah, it was nothing about that was ever released.
Okay.
That's just a theory.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Despite these theories, no definitive explanation has ever been found. 6 pounds of potatoes, a missing trench coat, missing purse, missing shoes, 2 days completely unaccounted for, and a murder with no clear motive.
Yeah.
She's just on the side of the road, suffocated with potatoes.
And someone saying, I know where your daughter is.
Yes,
On
true.
the phone, so suspicious.
With no signs of violence, police quickly theorized that Donna Dahl likely knew her killer.
Okay.
It was someone she trusted, someone she'd willingly be around. From the beginning, there was one name that kept resurfacing, Charles Burke, her ex-boyfriend. Mm-hmm. That's at NIU.
A master's student.
Yes. Charles was a fellow student at NIU and had recently dated Donna. But over the summer of 1970, while studying in Pennsylvania, Donna met another man. She was drawn to this new love interest, describing him as different, not possessive, like Charles was.
Okay.
Charles was known to be possessive, manipulative, maybe even a little aggressive, very controlling.
What a fun abuser. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. Suspicious indeed.
Very, very suspicious.
How long were they together?
I don't know that.
Okay.
I don't know that.
But they had officially broken up and everything.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. It had been...
Been some time. She went away for the summer.
Yeah. And she was dating Charles when she went away. And then she met this new guy. And she was talking to her friend... Kiarella. Oh,
Kiki.
God. Yes. Donna C. Donna C.
Okay.
Kiarella.
Kiarella.
God damn it. Okay. But she was talking to her friend saying that she was going to break things off with Charles so that she could date this new guy.
Okay.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So, it was enough for her to end things with Charles in hopes of pursuing a relationship with this unnamed man who, again, had recently separated from his wife.
Okay.
When questioned, this mysterious boyfriend, whoever he be, claimed he hadn't seen or heard for Donna the weekend that she vanished.
Okay.
And I do know the name of this guy, but because of the circumstances, I don't want to get sued, so I'm not going to say his name.
Wow.
I'm not going to say his name, just because he's still alive, and
okay.
I don't want him to come after me.
Yeah, you'll have to tell me after then. No.
Still, police found themselves circling back to Charles. He lived near where Donna's body was discovered and was reportedly devastated by their breakup. There's your motive.
Yeah.
Yet, Charles was really cooperative with the police throughout the investigation. He was actually the one who identified Donna's body.
Okay.
Which I find kind of weird that they asked him to do that.
Yeah.
Because she's got friends around, she's got family nearby.
But an ex-boyfriend somehow gets called in.
Yeah.
Okay.
For some reason.
Strange. Does he have an alibi, or you'll get into that?
I'll get into it.
Okay, yeah.
Charles volunteered to take a polygraph test, even.
Oh.
Then something unexpected happened. About a week after Donna's remains were found, police announced that they had a person of interest in the case. Publicly, they said that.
Okay.
They didn't name anybody specifically, just a vague statement. We have a person of interest. We have a suspect.
Okay.
And that night, Charles attempted suicide by slitting his wrists.
Whoa. Okay.
Yeah.
That is suspicious indeed.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. I mean, it does, yeah.
And whether it was guilt
yeah.
or grief, maybe he was so upset by Donna's death that it was a grief thing, or maybe he knew they were on to him, so it was a guilt thing.
Yeah, because at this point it had been, you said a week since... You said a week later they announced they had a suspicious person?
A week after they found her remains.
So, why didn't it happen sooner if he was so distraught that she was dead? If that's one theory.
It could also be that, and I was just thinking of all the different perspectives here, that he was grief-stricken and he didn't do it, but he knew the police thought he did.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense? He's not guilty, but he knows that they're gonna pin it on him, sort of situation.
Yeah.
And he's like, nope, don't want to deal with this. That's
sounds
not the
like
right way to put it, but
yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah, still sounds like a guilty conscience either way. Then they pin it on you. What are they gonna do? Make up fake evidence and pin it on you, or maybe he was that scared.
Yeah. So he did that. But Donna's family stood by Charles. They believed his innocence, convinced he had nothing to do with her death.
Do we know why they were convinced?
I think they just knew him.
That was good enough, yeah.
Yeah, and they just didn't believe that he was involved in any way.
Okay.
Yeah. And you asked earlier about an alibi. I don't think he had an alibi that someone could, verify. He lived alone.
Okay.
So I think he was home.
Oh, okay.
But no one could verify that.
Yeah. Interesting.
A more recent suspect has come to light thanks to internet sleuths.
Okay.
There's a bunch of Reddit conversations out there about this where people are literally trying to solve this thing.
This specific one.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so they're like asking people for information, they're asking people for tips,
Wow.
and they have contacted this guy that they've come across. Again, not going to say his name for reasons
Okay.
of
But the guy
safety.
in Pittsburgh.
Different guy.
Different
Different
guy has come forward.
Different guy.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, so
But still alive today.
yes. The internet sleuths have said this guy, this
Okay.
other guy,
Gotcha.
is potentially a suspect. And they've contacted him and they've been like, hey, tell your side of the story. And he says no comment.
Okay.
So he's just removed.
And why do we think he might be a suspect?
That is what the internet sleuths have decided. I don't know exactly why,
Okay.
but they've tracked down information,
Somehow it's
and it's
connected.
led them to this guy.
Okay, but he doesn't want to speak about it.
Nope. No comment. So the answers to the questions surrounding the murder still elusive even now.
Okay.
Because some of these people that were involved are still alive.
Yeah.
A lot of them are.
Yeah.
This is 1970 and they were college students.
Yeah.
So Charles, after his release from medical care, after his attempt, he hired attorney Edward Dietrich.
Okay.
And his lawyer described Charles as emotionally disturbed by Donna's death. He completely cooperated with authorities, but the suspicion surrounding Charles never really went away.
Mm-hmm.
But suspicion is not evidence. Charles was never charged. There was never enough evidence to arrest him.
Yeah.
He even served as a pallbearer at Donna's funeral. And she was wearing a pair of earrings that he had given her.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Buried wearing earrings that he gave her.
Damn.
Yeah.
Well, if he's the murderer, then that really sucks to get buried with
Yeah.
that.
But at the same time, if he's not the murderer, kind of sweet.
That your ex-boyfriend, controlling ex-boyfriend.
You're not wrong.
Yeah.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
But for some reason, the parents liked him.
Yeah.
It sounds like.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just never believed he had anything
Well,
to
they
do
were
with it.
controlling too, so maybe like, yeah, that's how you do it. I don't know. But also, like, isn't that a common? You would know more than me. Isn't that common for like someone that's like been involved in a murder to like go to the funeral or like something like that?
Yes.
And so like, oh yeah, I'll be a pallbearer, like knowing full well that he murdered her.
Yeah.
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 And like to prove he's innocent, like, oh, hey.
Potentially. That
Yeah.
does happen a lot.
Okay.
A lot.
Yeah.
That murderers go to the funerals or memorials or vigils or whatever's happening. Yep. Because they want to see the effects.
Yeah, I think I learned that from you.
Probably.
I think you told me that once. Yeah.
Would not surprise me. So here we are, 55 years later, and the case is still unsolved. But like I said, I'm convinced that Charles did it. That's my guess. He had the motive, he had the means, he lived in proximity to where they found her body. Maybe he was furious over the breakup, humiliated that she had left him for another man.
Mm-hmm.
Could have kept her in his apartment. He lived alone.
Yeah. Found near his place.
Right.
Did he have potatoes?
I was just about to say, the 6 pounds of potatoes feels like it could have been like a petty, twisted insult, like
Yeah.
final insult
Okay.
before killing her. And maybe force-fed her.
Raw potatoes, potentially.
Yeah. I mean, like, you met this guy from Pittsburgh, and you're both studying Russian, and now you have to eat all these potatoes. Ha, ha, ha.
Man. So potatoes and vodka, that's the thing.
Yes.
Okay. I always think like potatoes like Irish potato famine.
You're
That's
right.
what my brain was. But yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense about the potato vodka though.
The internet sleuths are big on the
The potato theory? Or
link between
Russian and...
Russian and
Okay.
potatoes.
Gotcha.
And they think that may have something to do with...
So this person knew her and knew she was studying
Yes.
Russian as this.
Yes.
Yeah. ex-boyfriend.
That's the theory.
It is convincing. Is he alive still? Mm-hmm. Oh.
Yeah.
But we can use his name?
Yes, because there's been a lot released about him, I think.
So
That's
you're not
why
the
I feel
only
comfortable
one.
with it. Yeah.
He's
There's a
not just gonna
lot
come
out
and
there.
find you if he is the murderer.
But the other, the Pittsburgh boyfriend and then the other suspect that people have narrowed it down to, there's not a lot out there about like names or where they live or why they're suspected like that. Yeah. So people are dancing around it, and I don't want to fuel the flame, so I'm just gonna follow suit.
Okay.
But if Charles didn't kill Donna, then who did? That's the most unsettling thing.
Yeah.
Did she willingly eat the potatoes? Was she forced to? And just overall, I just keep coming back to why. Like, why?
And would this person know that raw potatoes would kill a person too? Is that like common knowledge back then? Not that we would know that. But
I do not know.
That seems like something you have to Google. How do people find stuff out back then?
The library.
The library! And then they left with her and snagged her before Kyo, whatever her name is.
Just like a bag full of potatoes.
Right? Oh my gosh, how weird.
Oh no.
But like, possibly died from the potatoes, possibly just was suffocated and happened to have potato. The potatoes have to be, that seems so strange to not be related though.
Yeah. Like I said, regardless, she felt sick from those potatoes.
Oh yeah.
Even if they didn't kill her.
Yeah. And there's no way to really put it in your stomach after you suffocate someone, right?
Nope.
So she ate it. Weird.
Yep. Very, very weird. Maybe part of me thinks like, what if it was mashed potatoes? Because that would be easier to force feed than just like chunks of raw potato.
Yeah, but like, you mean like cooked mashed potato?
Yeah.
Is it still poisonous once you cook it?
No.
I thought it was just raw.
It is just raw, so it would have had to have been raw.
Yeah, I mean, you could probably still mash a raw potato a little bit,
Put them in a
but...
blender or something.
Oh gosh. Here, drink this raw potato smoothie so I can kill you because you study Russian. Wow.
It's the newest trend.
But it's so weird to like, you can't ignore the fact that the potatoes are in the stomach. Like, that's so weird. I mean, the only other thing could be like, she was held hostage and the guy's just like, you get potatoes. That's all you get. And so she just kept eating potatoes because she was hungry.
Maybe.
But then that would digest. So
Yeah.
I mean, like, she ate it in one sitting, right? Is that what that means? So yeah, no, it seems more intentional than just like, that's what she had access to.
That's what I think.
And then how did she get to the field or under the tree or whatever?
Yeah. We don't know that either.
She probably didn't eat the potatoes under the tree by herself.
Probably not.
Like, who goes when you've been missing for 9 days or 7 days, I guess, at that point, sits under a tree and eats 6 pounds of potatoes by herself? Like, that doesn't seem like she just did this herself. Like,
no, I don't think so.
no.
I don't think so.
It's gotta be the crazy ex.
There's just nobody else to point a finger at.
Yeah. And it just makes sense, you know? The way people described him.
There were also, I didn't write this in my notes because I wasn't sure if I wanted to get into it, but there were a couple other murders of co-eds like Donna in the same area, like around the same time.
Okay. With potatoes?
No, not with potatoes, but that's why I wasn't sure if I wanted to add it into my notes or not, because
but like suffocated maybe, or
just similar victim profiles.
Okay.
And they don't know if they were related to Donna's murder or not. But
unfortunately, women are more likely to be a victim of domestic violence than...
Yes.
Yeah.
And someone like randomly picking a victim is such a small chance.
Yeah.
And they thought that she probably knew whoever this was.
Right.
But in the case that she didn't know them, I don't know.
But potatoes would still be really weird if they didn't know her.
Yeah, but maybe it was a fetish. Potato fetish.
Eat these raw potato smoothie. Man. And then the library was on campus. And so there's seemingly, even though it was 10 at night, still probably people around. Nobody really saw anything, I guess.
Yeah.
Because, yeah.
Yep. Nobody saw a thing.
Just her friend waiting around and she never showed. Mm-hmm.
The DeKalb County Police are still accepting tips, even though this case is a cold case. They haven't really looked into anything since technology has developed. So I hope that they can pull this
Revive
case
it.
back out. Maybe the unknown substances
Right?
can be identified.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
So it was more than just potato.
Yeah, we don't know what it was. It could literally be nothing, or it could be, like, a drug of some kind. They just couldn't tell back then.
Any description? Or it's just like there was a substance, we didn't know what it was?
All the report says is mysterious substance. Or mystery substance.
Weird.
Yep. They are still accepting tips, though, so if you know anything about this case, about the murder of Donna Dahl, call 404-294-2911. I'll put that in the show notes as well. And that's the case of the murder of Donna Dahl.
What a strange one. Mm-hmm. So little to go off of.
Yeah. This one was harder to research, too, because there's not as much out there as the one from last week.
Okay, yeah.
And there's not, like, I was looking up newspaper articles from the 70s, trying to figure out, like, and piece together some things.
Wow.
It was pretty cool.
Researcher.
Yeah.
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 Well, do I put my bet? Do I get to, like, say who I think it is?
Of course.
I think it's Charles.
You think it's Charles, too?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just makes sense. Like, too many weird circumstances, even though, like, I'm more like, why did the family trust him? Why did she wear his earrings? Like, did he put that on her? Like, how was that decided? Or, I don't know.
I assume it was the family, but I don't know.
Is the family still alive? I mean, maybe not the parents, but
Yeah, her siblings are, yeah.
siblings
at
are.
least.
I wonder what they have to say about this. Do they speak about it? Mm-mm. Not really.
No.
Okay.
And Charles is, like, out living life.
Living life.
Yeah, just a
Hopefully
normal...
not abusing women anymore.
Hopefully. But yeah, so as far as everybody knows, he's never done anything else
Okay.
that's violent. He doesn't have any other criminal charges. Just seems to be a very normal person.
That doesn't want to unalive themselves anymore.
I
As far as
assume not.
That's another really weird fact about it. Like, the night they announced, like, it just... If you are feeling, like, you know, like, oh no, they're gonna, like... I don't know. Why? And I just... Yeah. Mental health was way different back then, too.
Yeah.
A lot of times, like, people just don't ask questions. And like, oh, they'll get better.
Yeah.
Not ask, why did you try that?
Yeah. Or just, like, shut them away.
Yeah. Yeah. Pretend it didn't happen. Shame them.
Yeah.
Well, Charles.
I know.
Potato Man.
That wraps up our episode of Friends Who Crime.
Wow.
Thank you so much for being here, Andy.
Of course.
I so appreciate you.
Love
I know
it.
true crime isn't your favorite thing, so this has been so much fun.
I've never really tried to get into it, to be honest, so.
I hope you catch the bug.
Yeah.
And, hope you had fun as much as you can when discussing an unsolved murder.
Yeah.
With an absurd amount of potatoes.
Yeah. A weird one for sure.
Next episode, I'll be covering a case that's it's just as bizarre, of course, but with a much, much different ending, much different context. It's the Chowchilla kidnapping. So, just a teaser here. Imagine you're a kid on a school bus.
Okay.
And then all of a sudden, you get stopped by people with guns, and they bury your entire class alive.
Wait. I've heard of this maybe before. Oh my gosh.
So I'll be covering that next week.
Gosh.
Just one of the craziest cases I've ever heard. I'm doing all these crazy cases because they're just cool to me in a weird, strange way.
Yeah.
Follow us on Instagram at Friends Who Crime. If you're on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, hit the save button. And if you turn on automatic downloads, that really helps me and the algorithm and the show. And remember, Friends don't let friends commit crimes.
Oh, yeah. I won't let you.
Thanks.
Mm-hmm.
And we're done! Woo! Oh, look at her all curled up.
Yeah.
Look at the baby.
Baby girl. Oh, wow.